Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Keep Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Lu Nieves Jr. This is episode 31, and we are joined by MWestBy. What's going on, brother?
You know the vibes. Let's get horny, baby.
And we are also joined by Johnny BoomBotz. What's up?
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you being here.
You motherfucker. And we have a very special guest, the one, the only, Mr. MWest. What is going on, brother?
Not much. Happy to be here. Long time watcher. First time on the pod. Back at you, Lou.
I'm done.
I know that he just mentioned he was waiting to do that. That was great. I don't know where you get the dance move from. I know you said that you dance on your like your downtime. This is
my fans only. My only fans. Come by. Check me out.
So yes, for those that don't know, Mr. West has been a huge supporter of the podcast and everyone in the community. He has helped many people with their overlays, their discords. What the fuck is going on here?
Johnny's trolling hard right now. He can barely keep it together.
You know, I'm gonna tell you something. You know, we see it in Google Meet, but not everybody sees it. So if you're looking at the stream, right, John? All you see is a basketball on the top of your head. Yeah.
Oh shit.
This fucking guy. But I do want to say thank you to Mr. West for joining us today. Paul is not here today, obviously, but West is here. And again, I want to say thank you for not only just supporting myself and the podcast, but everybody within all of our communities. And helping people with their, tech questions, streaming questions. You even helped build this, what you guys are watching. He helped build this overlay, and he's just a great individual. And I'm glad to have you here and hoping that we can keep having you come back. So thank you for being here, Wes.
Yeah, thank you. Love supporting, love helping, and anything I can do to, promote people to stream and get them hype and all that stuff. I love doing. So happy to be a part of this community.
So tell people where they can find you, your Twitch name, when you stream, what you stream, so that way people can find you if they're interested in watching the content, which they should be.
I'm pretty sure that I'm in the same communities as most people here. But if you don't know me, I stream under the name MWestBy. I mainly stream Thursdays, Fridays, and sometimes Sundays. And right now I'm playing Metroid. Planning on playing a little Fall Guys coming soon, and then after that probably Halo and some more Destiny. And if you don't know where to find me, check me out in any one of these guys' Discords, in Johnny's Discord and Lou's Discord. I'm always there to help and support and be a part of the community.
Yes, and John just put his Twitch. So thank you, John, for putting that in the chat. And I want to thank you all for being here. Episode 31, we're going to start, guys. And the topic of the show today is going to be about VR. Most recently, Facebook just changed their name to Meta, and they are really focusing on the whole VR thing. And one of the big announcements was the GTA San Andreas, and we're going to be talking about that and how we see the future of AAA titles coming to VR. So I do want to start with Wes. I know Wes, he's pulling out the damn VR now.
I'm just going to sit here like this the whole time. Let's go. What you got for me?
My man got the Oculus 2 hand ready. Wes, when you saw the announcement, although we don't have any concrete information, it was just a name drop. It was headlines everywhere. What were your initial thoughts when Facebook, now known as Meta, is going to be bringing GTA San Andreas to Oculus Quest?
I'm excited and I'm scared at the same time because I'm excited for the games that are coming to Oculus, more variety of games for us to choose from, play Grand Theft Auto and do all sorts of crazy things because the game feels so immersive. But at the same time, Facebook and the whole Meta thing and Zuckerberg being a part of it, I don't want to hear anything he has to say, but I'm really excited about the games that are potentially coming out. So it's kind of where I land with Mark and all his craziness.
So I want to transfer this to John. John is also a big VR enthusiast, and he's very immersed into the community. He's been doing it for a while. John, what are your thoughts on the announcement, and where do you see these AAA titles in the future?
So my whole thing with this announcement is I can give two shits about GTA so much going to the VR. That's not a huge thing for me. It's great that it's going to be coming. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But GTA itself, though, I really don't care for, like, the fact that that's coming. But I am excited to see that they use that as more of a pushing point and more of a headliner to get people interested in the VR. So I'm excited to see where VR goes. Because as you said too, I've been with VR with Oculus for about 6-7 years almost already. And I'm very big on the Oculus. I'm very big in the VR community. I love VR. I love the what it's able to be done and where we're able to go with it. And I see where not Facebook, but now what's going to be called Meta, where Meta is going with it and where their plans are going forward with the Oculus, with the virtual reality immersion, and their future projects they have forward. As far as the gaming goes, I'm excited to see that too, because we do see a lot of AAA games coming forward. We had Half-Life Alyx coming out originally. That was AAA. That was with Steam. But then at the same time, though, too, is the fact that Ubisoft just announced that we have Assassin's Creed, we have Splinter Cell coming out. So with Ubisoft doing that, and now they didn't announce any information like when we're getting it, but with Grand Theft Auto, that means Rockstar is getting their feet in the pool play too. We have IO Studios, which did Hitman. They have their feet in the VR community already. There are numerous games that are coming out. Like we have, I think one of the other games that was going to be coming out was
well, Capcom just dropped the Resident Evil 4 too.
Right. Right. Resident Evil 4. We got tons of horror games that are coming out in general, always coming out horror games. Jurassic World came out. We have there are so many games that are out there. Most of them are a lot of them are remakes. Star Wars is another one that's really big on it. So they have the foothold where we're gonna see where it's gonna be going forward from here. I'm excited though, because I'm excited for gaming in the future of it, but I'm not excited for Grand Theft Auto itself though.
I'm gonna pass this on to Chris. Chris, what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's dope. I've played VR a couple times at friends' houses and stuff like that. I've also seen videos. I think the best videos I've seen as far as VR stuff goes has been they have this one spot, I think it's in Texas, where you actually go and they got the treadmill thing where you get a gun.
Oh yeah.
And you're running and you're that to me is where the future of gaming is most likely gonna go, where it's super immersive, you're into it, you're experiencing the actual game. Even though games I feel like been getting more immersive in general, I think VR is just the future. I mean, we put it in, the title a little bit, that Ready Player One vibe type of stuff, where eventually everything's just going to be VR, not even just video games. I think where Meta is going, even though it's not Facebook anymore, Facebook/Meta is going is less about gaming, more about just real life interaction, have a meeting in VR with your people, type of stuff. So
I think this is interesting because we have heard of Apple making their own VR. People are stepping into the VR world. PlayStation's making their version 2 of it. We haven't heard anything from Microsoft and Xbox about this as far as VR is concerned. But I find it very interesting that bigger titles or bigger developers are joining in and seeing that this is the future. It may not be in everyone's household right now. I know I owned one prior to this conversation, then I sold it because I got motion sickness by watching a Lego Batman movie. It wasn't even playing a game. So I know it doesn't work for everybody because of the motion sickness, but I do feel that in the future you're going to see this kind of like in everyone's home, pretty much like everyone has a flat screen TV now. Everyone has a smart TV. It's going to eventually be that thing that you have to communicate. Like Chris was just mentioning, where it's not going to be about gaming. You're going to see more and more people communicating, not just through social media, but now their virtual selves, their own avatars, and they're moving their arms, and it's going to be very trippy because we're not used to it, but 20, 30, 40 years from now, that's how people are going to communicate. Remember, before texting, we had to call. Before calling, we had to actually see the person or send letters, So it's evolving. And I think with games like Grand Theft Auto, especially San Andreas, you're going to see people, and there's mods out there that already created these universes, but they're going to be people taking advantage of these stories and playing as these characters. And it's going to be incredible. We see it now, even with The Walking Dead, Saint and Sinners. It's just kind of games like that where AAA is going to get really involved and more games are going to be ported or created for VR, whether it be Oculus, PlayStation, or Apple. So I think this is very interesting. I want to see if this will actually change the gaming industry as a whole, because it hasn't really taken over kind of like the consoles have, but it's almost there. I know, Wes, you had some numbers. Can you just read those numbers about the gamers that are in the home? How many people have these Oculus and how many people are using it?
So Mark wants his hope is that 1 billion people end up using VR. But currently, there's about 58 million people that use VR, 93 million people that use it at least once a month. And that represents about 17 to 28% of the U.S. population specifically. So we're not even talking worldwide. So the numbers might be bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But right now in the U.S., it's a good chunk of us that's, put our hands on VR or have used it.
Yeah.
John, I know this is something that you are looking forward to, not so much myself, because again, I mentioned the motion sickness, but what are your thoughts on bigger titles coming? So, like, let's say Call of Duty, for instance. I know that there's shooters out there, but at a big AAA coming to a VR kind of thing, what are your thoughts on something like that?
So with that's the crazy part too, is the fact that everybody's stuck right now, and the reason why even we're talking about it is because of the fact that GTA San Andreas was the one that was announced.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was just a move only because of the GTA trilogy that's being announced that's coming out. Mm-hmm. Because Marvel Entertainment has a game that was released, where you play as Marvel superheroes in VR. It's only on VR. It's not even available for PlayStation VR. Mm. You get to use a Marvel Powers United. It's the first VR game put out by Marvel Entertainment, and that's actually out now. So there are big games and big companies that are seeing the move towards VR. I think that seeing AAA games coming for it is going to be great. Games like Call of Duty, they already have games that are similar to Call of Duty, but what I think that you're going to see is you're not going to see games like Call of Duty, for instance. You're not going to see Treyarch announce Call of Duty VR, because that's not where it's going to go. Because you can't get, as of right now with the technology we have, you can't get the same exact feel that you would get from a regular Call of Duty, like Verdansk, or you can't get that World of War or Modern Warfare vibe in a VR situation. However, they do have first-person shooters though, where you're able to almost get that same feel, where you can duck dive. You can reload your guns. You have to cock your gun. And you get the feel for it. And then add in the haptic feedback suits and everything else too. You really do have that overall feel of it, where you're going to get that Ready Player One Call of Duty vibe to it. Do I feel that they're going to be starting to announce Call of Duty VR? I don't see that. I mean, they might do it, and it'll probably take off only because of the name. But I don't think it's going to be as good as a third-party developer that focuses only on VR. Because the problem is that you got to realize that it's the same way with mobile gaming. Some mobile gaming, yeah, they make it big, but you have companies that are made for mobile gaming, that do mobile gaming as their thing. You have games like Treyarch and Activision that go, oh, I can just throw Call of Duty on mobile and say, fuck it, go for it, and make money off of it. So you're going to see that. You're going to see a lot of companies just throwing their shit into the ring, kind of like, I'm going to make it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do this. But it's not going to take off as much as the indie developers, the ones that are going to be coming up and coming as the virtual reality developers, the ones that their foundation is virtual reality. That's what they're focused on, and they know the ins and outs better than the big AAA companies do. That's what you're going to see, and I feel like you're going to see some new AAA companies up and coming over the next few years that are going to be taking off, such as IO. The fact that Hitman, yes, it takes off Hitman, but they're focusing on GoldenEye. They're focusing on other things that are virtual reality. I don't see I see new and coming indie developers coming up for it, because especially with Meta, Oculus, Facebook Meta is actually really pushing indie developers. He wants it to be a creative space for indie developers to be able to do it. Sideloading their apps onto your Oculus, you're going to have places where you can just get games that are made by a 20-year-old in their basement, sitting there at a computer grinding that shit out to make that fucking that brand new game, VR game. You could get that. And even with Facebook Home, with Facebook Horizon, the new beta for Meta that's coming out.
Better
that's
for Meta.
Like, better for Meta, yeah, exactly. Better for Meta. And that's the thing too. Is like I was playing with that yesterday, and that's like right now it's still an invite only. But at the same time, you see what people are able to create, and it looks amazing for what they're able to create from what little things they have. So I think that this is going to be more of an opportunity for your everyday person to be able to make that AAA game that you would not be able to get from Treyarch. It's going to start taking away from those big developers rather.
Chris,
I have a quick question.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is VR like Switch? And what I mean by that is the graphics. are there really good looking VR games, or is it
Not
on that Nintendo Switch level?
Yes, there are. No, both.
I
They have
haven't
both.
seen much. I haven't seen
I
much.
can
though.
show you games. I can actually show you games. I can show you trailers and gameplay footage of some games that would probably scare the shit out of you. That literally look just about as good as a regular PC game. Because remember,
they
those
can
two like in
handle it.
Half-Life Alex. As long as you don't remember one thing or two, right? It goes according to the software. So now, mind you, we're talking about Oculus Quest 2. Oculus Quest 2 is more of a consumer-based product where everyday person can purchase it. You have games like the Rift. You have games like Valve. You have bigger headsets that can handle more.
Mhm.
But you can also do like if your PC is able to handle
That's
a
what she
huge.
said.
Oh, Jesus.
No, the only thing is because I'm only laughing because I'm picturing like somebody playing with the Oculus thing, and you know how like your console or if it's a big game, your PC starts overheating, like your face just starting to melt. The whole freaking
So you
whole
do
mask.
have the Oculus can actually Oculus does heat up, and the front of the screen does heat up. It does get warm if you're playing for a while. And
Well,
if
they
you
tell
have
you not to
it
play
charged
for
on,
that
because
long.
the battery life sucks too.
Yeah, they tell
So
you I
the
think
battery
2 or 3
life-
hours.
Right. So that's why a lot of times you actually get the headset that actually has the battery pack built into it, which is a little dangerous too, because you have a battery pack literally strapped to the back of your head. I mean, it's not exactly this. I
Like
don't
the
think it's the
Matrix,
safest thing in
bro.
the world, but But yeah, I mean, if you have, and most graphics cards now too are made to be able to stream it, and you have VR, like you can stream with Oculus had just done their new thing where you can stream from your PC to your Oculus with wirelessly instead of having to have a 50-foot wire cord. Because if you look at some people's setups, they have the wire that goes up to the ceiling with VR hooks
Yeah.
that run the wire across the
Absolutely.
ceiling, so this way you can
Okay.
have wireless play. Like, so that's the thing though too, is like my biggest thing is it's nothing new. It's kind of like when Dick Tracy first had their talking watches back in the day. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, a talking watch." Now we have iPhones, we have smartwatches, we have Apple watches, we have Google watches. But back then though, it was like that's so cool. It's the future. So VR was the future, and like when you look at different things back then, now you're talking about because think about it, video games had 3D back then, you had virtual reality back then, but it was the huge machines that you had to strap your head into
Well,
it and
it's
shit. and it
becoming
looked
more
horrible.
mainstream now too, and it's
Right.
becoming affordable because remember these things were pretty expensive. Imagine a VR in your home wirelessly. Who would have
Right.
thought that would come? Then,
Right.
and like what John was saying, who would have thought? But I think with the technology, and you mentioned even the watches, it's growing every year. Technology, it's hard to keep up with technology. This is why my credit cards are maxed out. But the thing is, and I know Wes can attest to this too. Wes is like, we were watching the Apple event that mentioned the M1 Max and the M1 Pro. These are these silicone chips that are making the computers faster. That's besides the point. But we're looking at them and we're like, are these now going to be faster than some PCs that are out now? And we're trying to compare it and we're trying to justify the price, but it's always expensive at first and then it becomes the norm later on. We wouldn't think that this would be the norm. And I think a lot of people now, especially that's why they mentioned the San Andreas, because now it's becoming so suitable and affordable for all these consumers. And I wanted to ask Chris before Wes mentioned his statement. Chris, you are a big Grand Theft Auto San Andreas fan. Is this something that really interests you? Like, will you purchase a VR to play something like this?
Probably not. It just wouldn't be convenient for me in my current space. I think if I had like an actual spot where I had enough ample room to do VR, because I'm animated myself, even when I'm just sitting in a chair being stupid. I would need the space to move around without breaking everything. I don't have
seen
that
videos
right now.
of stuff like that happen.
Right,
Do it
like, I don't
outside.
have that right now. I don't want to waste money on stuff to break it. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't get it right personally right now.
But something that you'll be interested though.
I think I would be more interested in Assassin's Creed. I know they announced that and that was mentioned. Like that to me seems like a more fun VR type of game than a San Andreas. I like San Andreas for what it is, which is why I pre-ordered the definitive edition and I'm ready to play that. I like looking at everything in that spec of third person. I want to see everything that's going on. I'm not a huge fan of first person stuff. But it would have to intrigue me to be in that view. You know what I'm saying? Where I can see everything and I'm immersed in it like an Assassin's Creed type of game. I don't think San Andreas is the game for that for me personally.
Yes, absolutely. So before we end here, I wanted to say to Wes, I know that you own one, but you don't play it as much. What is the reason why you are not using something that's so accessible to you Is it the games? Is it the timing? You know, there are people that own it, but they don't use it as much. Why is that?
I'm late to the VR party, right? So I thought it would be like 3D TVs, and we all know that that technology came in, it was hot, everybody thought it was great, and it just kind of fell off, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what I thought VR was. But family friend has it, and even my wife used it, and she was like, "Oh man, it's amazing! You should check it out." And then my son got into it, and so I ended up getting one for him. I have so little time to kind of stream and play games myself. I haven't spent a lot of time with it, but the little time that I have spent with it, it's always been awesome. Like playing Beat Saber or Ready or what is it? It's the
Population
Population
one.
One. All that stuff. I was I was playing a game where I was fighting against some people with my bare hands, and I almost fell over. And there was nothing in the way. It's just how the characters attacked me. So I'm totally amazed by it, but whenever I do get a chance, I want to play some of my console games, and I just don't have enough time to kind of get into
Yeah.
VR. But I think it's super cool, and I really slept on it, and I felt bad about kind of neglecting the technology and not jumping into it a little bit earlier. But I'm happy we have it now, and we can kind of pick it up. And I bought Resident Evil 2 days ago, and so my son's been playing it, and I put it on, loaded it up, and I was like, oh no, this is too scary for me, and I passed it over to him so that we could change the settings. So that's kind of where I stand with it. And as more things come out, like San Andreas, I'm really curious about it, and like Johnny was saying about the virtual meetings, and I've seen some of like the office workspace or all those different things. Those are things I definitely want to check out. So as time goes on and as I make more time in my life, I'll probably check it out a little bit more. But yeah, timing
Yeah.
is probably why
I
I
was
don't
gonna
use it a
s-
lot.
I was gonna say, I think the more it becomes convenient, the more people will buy it. Like same thing with like cell phones and stuff like that, like smartphones. They're literally mini computers in your pocket now, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And it's way more convenient than who the hell has a house phone anymore? Like I don't even know any people that have an actual, put on the wall house phone or any of that stuff anymore. So I feel like the more convenient they make it, that technology just keeps advancing. I think more people will get into
Yeah.
it.
So before we go, I want to say thank you to Wes for joining us and stepping in for Paul. Truly appreciate
Welcome.
you. And
Yeah,
stick around for the
that was a
post
good
show.
role.
We're gonna speak more about the VR. I know John has a lot to say, but I want to give this question to you. Leave it in the comments below. We're gonna post this on YouTube like we normally do. Again, if you don't have time to watch us live every Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/Keep Gaming Podcast. You can find us on YouTube. Just search Keep Gaming Podcast. And if you don't got time to watch us and you want to listen to us, you can search us wherever you get your podcast. Just type in Keep Gaming Podcast. And that's gonna be it for us, guys. We're gonna continue this conversation in the post show. And until next time, keep gaming. Peace.
Peace.